Hello there, this is Linda Jo Martin, the Book Lady, and this is my weekly writing video. Today I would like to talk to you about sentences. The kind that you write, not the kind that you serve in the jail or anything like that. Sentences. One of the basic building blocks of a novel. You have to have a lot of sentences to get to the end of the novel normally. I guess somebody could try to write a novel with just one sentence, and it's probably already been done, but that's not the kind of sentence we normally want. So I'm looking through this book, A Writer's Book of Days by Judy Reeves. As you know, it's my go-to writing book and the one that I am relying on heavily during 2018. And in the March reading, because for each chapter there's a series of very short essays on different writing topics. Well, one of the March readings was about sentences. And I thought I'd share with you a little bit of what she said about sentences, because Judy Reeves, the author of this book, is a writing teacher. Have you ever taken a class on writing, creative writing? I never have. So I find this very interesting. Because I guess it's the same kind of advice she would give to her writing students. So, have you ever been like in a critique group and been given something to read that is totally stilted language? I mean, not natural language, but stilted, like people don't usually talk, and hard to read? Well, I have been in that situation, and it's hard to explain the difference between stilted language and actual flowing language, but when you experience it, you know what you're looking at, you know what I mean? So she says a few things about sentences to make them more legible, and I gotta admit, I've never sat and tried to build my sentences. Like if I went through my novel and fussed mentally about each and every sentence that was in there, I'd probably get nothing done. For me, it's just a matter of flow. I write like I think, like I talk, and that's all there is to it. But some people want to know more about sentences, so let's learn a little something. She says, put things in logical order so a reader can follow. Make sure you put your words on paper in the order that you want the reader to see the images that they represent. Don't show images before the reader sees the action. Okay. Second point, put emphatic words at the end. Emphasis tends to flow to the end of a sentence. So if there's a word or phrase you want to say a little more loudly, put it at the end. Third, put the most powerful sentence at the end of the paragraph so the reader is left with that image during the silence between paragraphs. And there's several other points that she puts in here. I have never actually built my sentences that way. Maybe they would be better sentences if I did, but I just don't take the time to sit there and think about each sentence, especially when I'm writing a first draft. I just want to get it down. And then, of course, when I go back through it and edit, I change the sentences around a lot for clarity and so that, you know, there won't be any passive language and things like that. So the basic building blocks of a novel are very simple. The basic building block is the letter. The letters make words, the words make sentences, the sentences make paragraphs, the paragraphs make chapters, and the chapters all put together become a novel, and it's really very simple. It's just a matter of not quitting. If you quit writing your novel, it never gets finished. So for those of you who want to write novels, that's my best advice. Just don't quit. And eventually you will get to the end. So having said all that, I will go on to the next part of my video, which is always to read one of my flash fiction short stories. They're less than 500 words. They're all very short. And I have a little sugar bowl from which I will draw a number, and the number matches one of the stories, and it's number 28. So put this back on the table here and read the quote on the back. It says, "Don't let someone dim your light simply because it's shining in their eyes." Written by an unknown writer. Good advice. Story number 28. The prompt is Driving the Coast Road, and the prompt comes out of this book, A Writer's Book of Days by Judy Reeves. And the title I gave to the story is We Have Lost Our Normal. She kept the two front windows open on her mini Skoolie, so there was quite a breeze going through her living quarters that morning. Driving south on Highway 1, her tires played chicken with the edge of the road, which was the top of a cliff. Far below, wild surf crashed on jagged rocks, a frequent reminder to stay alert and remain on the road. Cassandra felt ready for a break. She needed a break from driving for about a week. Her Skoolie, loaded with water and everything needed to be self-contained for a week, was all the home she needed. Well, that and a safe place to park it would do just fine. She spied a beach access road and made the turn down a paved one-lane promise of driving relief. When she got to the beach parking area, she was greeted by signs saying no overnight parking and no camping. Typical. They wanted you to visit, then get lost. Don't stick around, don't relax, probably under surveillance, probably regularly visited by the beach parking patrol squad. Armed government employees, there to make sure nobody broke the rules. Cassandra sighed. She wondered what happened to the old days only 100 years ago when people camped where they wanted, however long they wanted, without duly enacted rules keeping people from natural living. Now there are so many people, there's a rule for everything. Where is there any freedom left? Civilization moved in with a massive explosion of population, and normalcy moved out, replaced by a new normal so prevalent nobody remembers the normal that was before. It was 12 noon, and Cassandra had a plan. First, she cooked rice and vegetables on her 2-burner propane stove. Then she cleaned her Skoolie kitchen, ate her lunch, and lay down on the bed in the back of the bus. 7 hours later, she woke up just before sunset and ate her breakfast while watching waves play with shoreline. Gulls circled overhead. Aside from her Skoolie, the parking lot was empty. She started up the bus, turned it around, and left. No overnight parking, she said, but that doesn't stop me from sleeping all day. She knew that's what she'd need to do to get through this part of the country. Driving south on the coast highway that night, she realized the road's nearness to cliffs no longer bothered her. She couldn't even see them. She felt safe. And that is the end of that. So let's go on to another tip from Jack Kerouac on page 18 of this book. He left a list of 30 tips for writers, and I find it very amusing to read them. One per video, that's once a week. So we are on tip number 13. Remove literary, grammatical, and syntactical inhibition. I like that. I like that a lot. It's like what I was talking about earlier about sentence structure. If you don't worry about sentence structure and making everything just perfect, it really flows a lot better, and you can get creative with your writing. Like, I actually had a story critiqued once where they objected to me making a sentence without proper sentence structure. And to me, that's just kind of ridiculous, because when you're writing, you just want it to flow. If it only flows with 2 words and there's not a subject and a verb, that's fine with me. So it's the way we talk. We don't always talk in full sentences, so why should I write in full sentences? That's not the way the human mind processes things. Of course, most sentences you would want to have the right subject and verb in there, and I just love his advice to remove literary, grammatical, and syntactical inhibition just so you can write the way that you think. And that's what I'm going to do, write the way that I think. So it's been fun. Enjoy these writing videos. Yes, I do very much. So I'll talk to you in another video. Thank you for listening. Bye.